Welcome to the King's Court Podcast. I'm your host, King Roberto. The last couple weeks didn't really go to plan, at all. You know, we had the issues with the flight being delayed on our trip back to Oklahoma City. We had our guests last week, falling through. We had the technical issue where the podcast didn't even record. The schedule's been slammed. And it's just felt like if it could go wrong, it's gone wrong. I don't know. It's just a run that we seem to be going through right now. And we've all been there. You reach that point when you're in the midst of all of this stuff saying, what the hell am I even supposed to do next? Everything that you seem to touch goes wrong. Well, this week we're going to talk about that moment. We've got the last few episodes that we've recorded, we had the constant motion. When the weight is yours and the responsibility becomes yours. We threw in a little bit of, the kingdom when it gets quiet and slows down. What it means to step forward anyways, when things don't go to plan. And then when not everyone does step forward, even when it's their turn. And they all kind of tie together in one way when you kind of think about them. And they all reach that point where it's time to make a decision. It's great to want to wait until the right path forward clearly presents itself. When that happens, you look up in the sky, you see a rainbow. Beams of sunshine shining down. You hear angels singing in the heavens above. And you just know, hey, I better go down that path because that is the right path. You look to the path to the left or the path to the right. There's dark, forest, dreary. Could maybe fire be burning in them or you got a blizzard one way and not the other. It's clear the path forward, but we're not always afforded that luxury. We can't always wait for the right answer. We spend so many times overthinking what step we're going to take. And we've all done it. I've done it. It's a big decision that we're making, whatever it may be at the time. It's this big decision that you're going to make. And what do? Do you just make the decision? No. Most of the time we don't. We reach out to friends. I'm going to call in a lifeline. Hey, I've got this decision I got to make. What do you think? Give me the 50-50. Take the 4 answers, and I want to take 2 of them away. And then we're going to do the thing where we get the crowd to vote on what's the right answer to move forward. And we're just paralyzed at that moment. And it happens all the time to people. You hear about it happening. You've lived through it happening to you. And it's not like it's unique to any one person. It's not unique to me. It's not unique to you. It happens all of the time. And so we get to these moments where, you talk yourself into it, right? You're like, oh, I'm just going to be patient. I'm just waiting for a sign. But in reality, you're just stuck. You just don't know what to move. What the move is, there's, it could be lots of different things for lots of people. I've got all kinds of things in my story background of what this could be. It could be a business decision. It could be a business decision. We had one a couple years ago where it was a decision to go more digital forward versus having a lot of paper around the office. Because there was this transition maybe in the last 5 to 10 years where offices transition from a lot of paper, file cabinets all over the place, into the modern era of technology where computers are the file cabinets now. You have the digital versions of file cabinets. We used to keep all the paper versions because it was said that a wet signature meant more than a scanned copy of the wet signature. Well, it turns out today, not so much the case. For me, my volunteer life, there's some of those decisions of what do we do here, what do we do there. My favorite time that we're just kind of stuck is my wife and I went on a trip to Ireland, and it was a blast. We had so much fun, but there was this section of the trip where we stopped to go visit a waterfall, and we wanted to find this waterfall because it was this trail and everything. And we came to the top of the trail, and we had a decision to make. It was go to the right and go down, or go to the left, go kind of flatten up. And we must have talked about it there for, I don't know, a few minutes. And I could tell that the paralysis of that decision, the freeze, the fear of choosing the path down the hill was really something that was weighing on her. So, I wasn't going to let her just sit there and be patient, wait for the clarity of the decision to set in on her. We weren't waiting for the angels to sing in the heavens above and the rainbows and butterflies to show us the way. We went down that hill, by golly, and we went and we found that waterfall. And sometimes you just got to do it. The waterfall was the goal. The waterfall, getting to the waterfall was the clarity. And that didn't come first. I mean, we knew where we wanted to go, but how to get there, we didn't have that clarity of how to get there, because I got to tell you, when we vacation, we're not taking a map. We're not really mapping out the route unless we know that we want to go see, the battleship in the harbor or something. We know that we want to go see the battleship in the harbor, where we're going to go. I don't know how we're going to get there, but we'll get there. And that is a lot of the way that I tend to roll in those situations. I'm not necessarily a person who's just going to sit there and wait and sweat and try to figure it out. It's a conscientious choice to keep moving in a direction. For me, you've heard me say it before. It's the keep me moving forward. It's the theme of Meet the Robinsons, the Disney movie. Keep moving forward. Walt Disney said it himself. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. And there's so much truth to that. Whatever you do, keep moving forward. Because you don't just get clarity of the path and then decide to go on the path. It very rarely works like that. It works more often that you make the choice to walk down a path, whatever the path might be, and then that clarity of the destination shows up. So anyways, there's a saying that says there's more than one way to skin that cat. And there's more than one way to get to any destination. Some ways may be shorter. Some ways may be longer. Some ways may have more danger. Some ways may have more hills. Some ways may be the scenic route. Some ways may be the route through the highway. And there's just so many ways to get there. But the whole point of it is most people are waiting to feel ready. That moment doesn't come all the time. If you're waiting for that time that you're feeling ready to act, the opportunity's passed. The moment has passed. You should have started walking 35 minutes ago, because now you're out of time to actually make it to the waterfall and see the waterfall and see the beauty around you. And that's, the result. And That particular trip, we actually made a YouTube video of that whole hike. And I got to tell you, I thought we were pretty dang funny. If you go to my YouTube page, you can see it yourself, but that is a lot of fun. We've had that happen more than once to us. The times that you kind of decide what to do without having a full look into the picture. You know, there's a difference between being unsure and being unwilling to act. The pressure of being the one person that people look to. It's something that I think a lot of men feel in family situations because of the stereotypical man's role in a family. You are the patriarch, you are the protector, you are the person that is supposed to take the time to keep everybody safe and make these decisions that are going to keep the family safe and keep the family moving forward. And that's not a light burden to bear, you know. That comes with a lot of responsibility. And so when you are the person that people are looking to make those decisions to make forward, I mean, that's a big deal. So for me, this house that we are in now, this property that we're on, the land that we're on now, the story of that was we had our eye on this land, this 6 acres, and it's our little paradise, right? I mean, to be honest with you, lately, the paradise has been kind of messed up, but that's a different show for a different day. But we wanted this land, and we had made an offer on it, and we're outbid. 3-4 months before we made a second offer, we had been outbid on this land. We really liked it. We walked around, we saw it. We saw the potential through it because it was overrun with oak trees, manzanita, poison oak, all over the place. I mean, for somebody who's ridiculously allergic to poison oak, I had no problem tromping through it to kind of get a better look at the property here. And honestly, it was one of these parcels that you have to get out and walk on it. You have to get past the road. You have to get off the road, walk across the barbed wire fence and get out there and walk on it to really appreciate what it was at the time. And we didn't have the full picture. I mean, if you're buying raw land, a lot of the times you don't have the full picture of the land that you're buying, but it's a gut feeling that this is the direction we need to go. And that's how it was for us when we bought this place. You know, I knew when this came back around, it fell off the market or out of escrow. It was in escrow and it came back on the market because of a perk test that the client at the time didn't like, who had it in escrow. And for me, a perk test is something that's pretty easy to overcome, a bad perk. The well was existing and it was a great find. I think it was a diamond in the rough. But we didn't have everything kind of figured out, but it was one of those deals where we just said, okay, yeah, we'll take it. Let's go. We made a full offer on it. We didn't have a lot of contingencies on it. It was a cash offer. So we were able to swoop it up and build this little paradise that we have here now. And that's something that is relatable for a lot of people. I think there's a house down the road from us that just sold, and it sold. My wife had a friend who she really wanted to get this house, old coworker that she used to work with, but they got beat out by a cash offer with no inspections. Full cash offer, no inspections on the house, and it's probably like a 10-day escrow close or something like that. One of those deals that it's an investor or somebody relocating from a place that they sold with a lot more money. Came in, swooped in, picked up the house, and make it go. And people can make those types of decisions because they know you can look at something and you see your goal clearly. You know what the goal is. You don't know how you're going to get there, but you know what the goal is. And once that goal is something that's in sight, such as owning your own home, they can then make a decision of this is how we're going to do it. And that's the way that a lot of the times it works. You know, it's something that comes with experience and trial and error, because there's lots of times that you go and you don't make the decision in time, or you overthink something where, man, if I'd have just done that a day earlier, it might have had a different result. And I see it in work, with some of my learning times over the last 30 years of working and making decisions of that I overthought. And it was like, well, I probably spent too much time thinking about it and not enough time just doing it. That's kind of the ins and outs of what I see happening. And a lot of this can be related directly to things going wrong. When they go wrong, it kind of creates that questioning in your mind. This has had so much stuff going wrong over the past week or so. How can I possibly make a decision to do something now? How can I possibly decide that I'm going to do this and expect it to come out right? And it does. It raises a lot of self-doubt when stuff kind of piles up and it's going wrong and it's going wrong and it's going wrong. I get it. I'm there. I'm living it right now. And it's easy to get caught up in that. I can't do this again. I can't be wrong again. And it is one of those paralyzing moments. But you know what they say? A king doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He decides and he adjusts. And it's not because, I'm not trying to be perfect. All I'm trying to do is keep things moving. Because direction and movement is going to beat perfection every time. Every time. You think about it. The person who is waiting for just the right opportunity, the right moment to strike. You've been that person. I've been that guy. You're waiting. You're just waiting. I know that it's going to come. I know that the opportunity is going to come to me. Versus the person who just goes out and starts doing it. A year goes by and you're still waiting for that opportunity. You're still waiting for that perfect moment to come. In the meanwhile, this person over here who was just moving forward, made that decision to keep moving forward. Now they've got whatever it was that they were working on in progress. And they're a year ahead of you. And that's what the whole point of it is. You can't just wait. Sitting and waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect time, is a fool's errand. And I've lived it. I've had those opportunities and I've tried my best to learn from it. I got to tell you though, sometimes that's hard. Sometimes that is hard to do. Because in everything that goes wrong for me, I'm looking for the lesson. What the heck am I supposed to learn from this? There's got to be a lesson in this. It went wrong for a reason. What did I miss? What are the steps I missed? Sometimes I can't find them. Sometimes they show up a year later, 2 years later, which is the worst. It's like, oh, that's why that happened. In the meantime, you've already taken 100 steps forward in a different direction, and then you're faced with the same thing again. You can only hope that you learn what the lesson is, or that from the decision in time to not repeat it. Because, the repetition of mistakes, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. But at the end of the day, you just got to keep moving forward. You just got to keep moving, sometimes at all, which is going to bring us to a royal decree. If you're in that spot right now where nothing feels clear, when you're frozen, when you don't know which way to go, remember this. Indecision costs more than being wrong. Indecision costs more than being wrong. And you can do your own research and check my facts on that. But even if you're wrong, you're moving in a direction. Sometimes it turns out to be the wrong direction, but you've already put distance between yourself and where you were. And that matters. Because if you've put that distance in there and you need to make a course correction, as long as you're moving, you can get back on course and you won't be back at the start. You've just gone a little bit longer way around the path. So you don't need a whole plan, right? You just need a direction, an approximate direction. It doesn't need to be due north. It doesn't need to be due west. If you know you want to go north and it's kind of to the west, then just head to the north and kind of to the west. And the willingness to take that next step, even if it's not the right one, let that sink in with you. Even if it's not the right one, take that step. My name's King Roberto. This is the King's Court Podcast. As always, I encourage you to reach out, say hello, send an email, DM, message on X, Instagram. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel or on the Buzzsprout page or on the podcast page, wherever you get your podcasts. And I will see you in a week with another episode. King Roberto saying goodbye.